I've had some time to think. Some people told me this baby could be a fresh start.
Promise, I'm gonna do everything in my power to get this family on the right track for your baby.
Some straight up told me to get rid of it.
If you have this baby, it's gonna be the worst decision you ever make in your life.
Honestly, the only thing that made sense was to listen to how I feel.
So this was an exclusive promo that dropped on social media for Go Season 4, Episode 5. Big decisions are going to have to be made by both Diana and Tariq. Does she keep the baby, or does she get rid of him or her? Which I'm not sure whether we'll find out what sex the baby is just yet. Even though they will go for a scan, I'm sure it's too soon. But there are going to be some big decisions ahead for both of these characters, and there's going to be a lot of outside influence. So in this breakdown, we're going to run through this short teaser between Diana and Tariq, the baby trouble that they have, how Monet and Kane might cause some confusion, and generally where their mindset might be as they get set to make a big decision that will definitely alter the course of their lives forever. Because the question going into episode 5 is, will Diana keep the baby? So that's going to be the talking point for today's breakdown for all things Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4.
You can't do this to me.
Why the fuck can I?
Because she's pregnant.
What the fuck that got to do with me? Why should I care?
Because it's yours.
Now, we all know they dropped the bombshell towards the end of episode 404. Jeanette revealed earlier in episode 4, Monet was so far gone with her kids, she didn't even realize that Diana was pregnant. And I think that was a game-changing moment, especially as Monet began to realize she was the problem after all. However, going into episode 5, one thing I'd be doing if I were in Tariq's shoes is questioning whether the baby is actually his. Kanan once said to a young Tariq back in power, he should have taken a test when it came to Sean. And I do wonder if that stuck with Tariq, especially because she did sleep with Salim. But, just on that point, Latoya, who plays Diana, did do an interview with Big Gold Belt Media, and she did reveal the baby is definitely Tariq's. So, we as the audience know the answer to that question, but the point still stands with Tariq because he doesn't. He doesn't know what we know, so let's see if he does question Diana, because I certainly wouldn't trust it Tejada if I were in his shoes.
As wonderful as it can be to imagine yourself with a baby, really have to ask yourself, do you have the right kind of environment and family to bring a new life into the world?
Now, this is another question I do think is valid, even if Diana didn't exactly like the way it was asked. Brashandra later asked something very similar. Is she ready? What about her future? What about her education? Does she have the right environment to raise this baby? I would personally say she doesn't, especially because of the game her family are in.
Don't fucking mix our kid with business, Mo. That shit will not end well.
I do think these flashbacks that the writers have been giving us in season 4 not only show us a few parallels between mother and daughter, but where Monet went wrong by mixing family with business. And this is where I think Monet will want to kind of try and do things differently. This is her second chance to do right by her kids, and we will hear her saying in episode 5, she's going to do everything in her power to get this family right back on track for Diana and also her grandchild. Now, whether Monet can really change her ways, let's see. I do think her having this conversation with Jeanette and realizing she was a problem after all, and how she should have never brought Diana and Drew into the street game, she might just begin to change her ways. But again, I do personally feel it will be short-lived, and I'm going to come back to that point in just a second. Now, on one hand, in the exclusive clip we've got Monet telling her the baby could be a fresh start, but on the other hand, she's got people like Kane telling her to get rid of the baby, saying it's going to be a huge mistake. So, there's going to be a lot of outside influence from everybody who's around Diana, and I wouldn't be surprised if that just kind of confuses her even more. However, it's not Kane's decision to make, and neither is it Monet's. It's Diana and Tariq's, or more so Diana's. She's the one who's carrying the baby, although I do feel they should sit down and discuss it together. You know, what's the move going forward? How would our lives look if we did have this baby? How would they support the baby together? And make sure he or she lives a life that's different to what Monet pushed on them. It's definitely a conversation they need to have. But, ultimately, will she keep the baby? That's the question going into episode 5 based on this exclusive clip. And from where I am, I think a lot of factors will play a part. There's going to be a lot of outside influence. Where does Diana see her future? Where does Tariq? Are they still going to be in the street game when they raise this child? Because we've all seen what's happened not just with the Tejadas, but almost every single family across the Power universe. Now, in my opinion, I do think she will keep the baby. It just makes sense from a storyline perspective, because it gives Monet this second chance, where we see them building this mother and daughter connection that we've never seen before. I think it also makes this complex between, say, Kane and Tariq. For example, if Nomar gives Kane the order to kill Tariq, that's the father of his sister's baby. Although I don't think Kane would give a shit anyway, but it definitely would make things a bit more complex. It would also make Tariq think about, what would Ghost do? Or what did Ghost try and do for majority of his time on power? Try and keep his family safe and out the street game. And I do wonder if that will come into his thinking. We're also going to see both of them going to the clinic, where Diana will have what I assume will be her first scan. And that's when I think it's going to hit them. This is real, and it is happening. However, I go back to what I said in one of my previous breakdowns last week. Are they setting us up for Diana to bite the dust by making her more human? Her potentially making this decision to keep this baby, rebuilding this relationship with Tariq, rebuilding this mother and daughter connection, but only for them to rip it away in the most tragic way. I certainly think so. They might start to show us Monet in a different light, her actually being a mother, but ripping Diana and this baby away from them, honestly, it would absolutely cause mayhem. But it's definitely something that will rumble on into part 2, because I'm sure there will be a few cliffhangers. But going into episode 5, the question definitely is, will Diana keep the baby? But that's a breakdown of the short exclusive clip between Diana and Tariq, where big decisions will have to be made. Will Diana keep the baby, or will she get rid of it? Let me know your thoughts and predictions down below in the comment section. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.